All right, here are the notes for section 9.1, using ratios and proportions. Our first definition is a ratio. A ratio is a comparison of two numbers by division. Okay, there's some different ways to write it here. Let me get my pen not so big here. We've got A to B. It's one way to write our ratio. A semicolon B. A over B. A backslash B. Or A divided by B. Those are all different ways to write our ratios. Moving on to our first example here. We are going to write each ratio in simplest form. Basically, we're going to be looking at this fraction and seeing what we can divide them both by. I see that I can divide 45 and 65 both by 5. So I'm going to first divide 45 by 5. I get 9. 65 divided by 5 is 13. That's then our simplest form. All right, 6 days to 2 weeks. So the first thing we need to look at here is how many days is 2 weeks. So we know that there's 7 days in 1 week. So in 2 weeks there are 14 days. Now that we have the same units, we can write our ratio. Our ratio is 6 days to 14 days. And simplifying that, I see that I can divide them both by 2. So when I take 6 divided by 2 and 14 divided by 2, I get 3 over 7. All right, looking at our next example, 12 over 32. I see again that they're both even, so I'm going to first look at 2. I know that I can divide them both by 2. I also see that I can divide them both by 4. I'll show you what happens both ways. So first, if I divide them both by 2, I get 6 over 16. Then I see that I can divide those both by 2 again, and I get 3 over 8. That's our simplest form there. I'm going to start this as 12 over 32 again. I also see that I can divide them both by 4. So dividing them both by 4 here, I go right to that 3 over 8 in simplest form. All right, and our last example right here of just writing ratios is looking at that 10 kilometers to 20,000 meters. So again, I have to go from meters to kilometers. So I'm going to use my what I know about meters and kilometers. So I am going to bump it back 1, 2, 3 units. So 20,000 meters is actually 20 kilometers. Now that I've got them in the same units, I can write them as a ratio. So 10 kilometers to 20 kilometers, or 1 kilometer to 2 kilometers. All right, I'm going to put my units here. We should probably be putting our unit along the way. All right, next definition here is proportion. A proportion is an equation that shows two ratios that are equal. So something like 50 over 60 is the same thing as 5 over 6. Those are equal proportions. And when we're solving proportions, we are going to be cross multiplying. Okay. So looking at our examples down here, I'm going to look at this first one. I'm going to do my cross products. So 4 times 12 is going to be equal to 3 times x. 4 times 12 is 48. That's equal to 3x. Solving for x here, I'm going to divide both sides by 3, and I get 16 is equal to x. All right. Looking here at letter B here, again, I'm going to set up my cross products here. Oops, I don't need the eraser. I need the highlighter here. So again, I'm going across, setting up my cross products here. So when I'm setting up my equation, it's going to be 3 times 14 is equal to 7. And for this one here, I'm going to tell you to put that x minus 1, that's because that's that quantity, in parentheses, x minus 1. Now we're going to solve. 3 times 14 is 42, and that's going to be equal to, on this side we're going to distribute that 7, so 7x minus 1, 7x minus 7, just said distribute, should probably do that. Solving for x then here, I'm going to add 7 to both sides first, plus 7. So I've got 49 is equal to 7x. Dividing both sides by 7, and I know that x is equal to 7. I could plug that in here and check. So 7 minus 1 is 6. 6 over 14 reduces to that 3 over 7. All right, let me erase this example here so I can have some space to work. All right, so again, we're going to do our cross products here. So it's going to be 5, and in parentheses, x minus 2 is equal to 2 in parentheses, x plus 2. Go ahead and distribute. 5x minus 10 is equal to 2x plus 4. We'll work to get our x's on one side. So subtract 2x from both sides. 3x minus 10 is equal to 4. Add 10 to both sides. 10, add 10. So I've got 3x is equal to 14. Divide both sides by 3. And x is equal to 14 thirds. All right, and then our last example here, I'll give myself more room, there's that. And again, we're going to do our cross products here. So 2x times 3 is equal to 9 times 4 times 4. 2x times 3 is 6x equals to 36. Divide both sides by 6 here. We've got x is equal to 6. All right, that is the notes then for section 9.1. Your practice is listed right down here. Assignment number 1. You can go ahead and work on that.